It's me playing as Texas, but I'm not allowed to collect any taxes. This is going to be a pretty tough challenge to become the #1 GP, but there are various other ways to make money. You might wonder, how are we going to not collect taxes from day one, since we can't instantly pass consumption-based taxation to remove our taxes? But before we do that, the plan is simply going to be to promote generals until we have a 100% bureaucracy deficit, so we will need to hire some extra generals in order to accomplish this, but it's not going to take that long. You can see we're already at a 50% deficit. And yeah, after just a bit more, we now have a 100% deficit. It doesn't update yet, but we only get the money on a Monday tick, and before the Monday tick, we will lose all of our income and poll taxes. It is still going to be important to eventually get out of a bureaucracy deficit because we do lose out on government dividends, which I think are going to be a pretty significant source of revenue in this run. But at the start, our armed forces are incredibly strong, which gives us huge stall chances on consumption-based taxation. So I'm going to start by passing colonial exploitation because we do want to start making some colonies. This will also let us do, for example, a non-colonization agreement on Dixie for the US, which is actually going to be incredibly important for our strategy. With tech, I'm going to immediately start rushing for corporate charters because the reinvestment we can get from companies is going to be pretty much unmatched in terms of revenue for a country this small. And then we need to figure out a way to win the War of Texan Independence, and I'm pretty sure the best way to do that is to put everyone on defense. Then I'm going to start going to the Dixie HQ, and we're going to wait till the Mexican side has around 40 progress. Maybe we want one more tick. Yeah, 45 progress is pretty good. Then you want to return to the front, and the battle should start right as you arrive. Just barely as you arrive. Yep, we barely get the battle. Now, the reason you need to do this is otherwise the Mexicans will wait until this 3-stack arrives, and generally you lose. Although actually I haven't tested it without with the plus 20% from Patriotic Fervor, so maybe with that you could win that battle, but this way is very consistent. You win this battle, and then you will capture Santa Anna, and that will mean that you can just end the war. This war used to be pretty easily winnable with naval invasions, but with the new naval invasion system, I don't think it's quite as simple to win this war, so I'm just going to end the Diplo play with that event. For now, I'm going to start building up some logging camps in Texas. We don't have investment rights in anyone, so I think this is going to be our best bet for now. We will want to try to get investment rights in the US as fast as possible, but we're going to need to be able to give them at least a non-colonization agreement to do that, and we need to wait for colonial exploitation to pass. Now, I'm going to delete our entire military because there's no other way for us to save money, and we're going into a deficit, so pretty much we have to delete it. I mean, maybe we could break even with this. Not even. So basically, we're just going to delete the army. And yeah, that's going to be pretty fine. We don't need an army too early, especially because we're actually going to become a Texan protector, or we're going to become an American protectorate once our relations with America hit 20. This event will make us a protectorate. We could decline it, but I think becoming an American protectorate really isn't that bad. We get popular playwright. Well, I mean, I guess I'll take the 20 prestige. It's really not that important, but, becoming a minor power is nice. I don't actually know how being a minor power will help us. It doesn't change our diplomatic stance or anything, but maybe it will help us with something like influence or whatever. I guess I'll go declare an interest over here in Niger, because I think this is where we're going to start our first colony once we get colonial exploitation. Okay, we finally have passed colonial exploitation. I guess I'll go start a colony over here in the Niger Delta, because we would like to start a colony over in the American areas, but we are going to be doing something else for that instead. If we look over here, you can see we can get plus 60 approval from giving them a non-colonization agreement over Dixie. Now, is there anything in here that they would actually want to renegotiate with? Not really, so I guess we'll start a new treaty for our negotiations. And now we need to add up enough stuff to be able to get investment rights in them. Unfortunately, there's no way we can get more success chance than this, so we have to hope for the 67% chance. If they decline, we can re-ask them every year. Every year is a pretty long time to wait, though. Okay, unfortunately, they did end up declining, so I guess we will have to end up waiting another year. I just realized we went into so much debt from starting the colony over here. That's crazy. It puts us in. It costs 100,000 to build the port, so we're just in a huge debt from that. Wow. And apparently, it's still isolated for some reason. I guess we have to swap this up to cargo port. And then now it's not isolated because we didn't have any convoys before, I guess. Oh no, the problem is that we have 0 ports in our home state. We have to go build a port in Texas. I was thinking of ways we could get investment rights in more people, and I realized we could go ahead and conquer Oran from Mascara, and then try to call France into a play. Let's just quickly enlistment efforts Texas, and then max conscript line infantry. And yeah, France is willing to join us. and that's going to be very nice because if we can get France to help us out in this war, it's not going to be a hard war. We really don't have that much use of our infamy in the early games, so I feel like this is a pretty good thing to spend it on, and then we can just trade the state to France in exchange for getting investment rights. We really don't want to grow our own economy that much because um, we want the investment pool multiplier to be as close to 3 as possible in the early game. There's a giant government administration in Oran, so we want to delete that the second we take it to make sure we don't accidentally get any taxes. Okay, the second the Oran war is over, we need to get ready to pause, because I think it's actually going to happen right before a Monday tick, potentially, here. Oh, no, the Monday tick actually happens before the war is over. Okay, we're safe then. And then we can go and delete the government administrations, and then we can sell this to France in exchange for lots of stuff with an obligation. Now we can do a 25-year treaty. We could even do a 50-year treaty and get investment rights for 50 years, but I think what I'm going to do is a 50-year or 25-year treaty, and I'm going to ask for like 1.5 thousand money. We could probably do a 50-year treaty as well, but I think the money is pretty worth it, so we'll just do that, and they've got a 92% chance of accepting that treaty. And I think that was a very, very good use of our infamy, considering, I don't know what else we would use it on. So I'm now going to cancel all investments into Texas and start investing in whatever the most profitable building per construction is, which I think is going to be logging camp, since there are only 200 construction. Although we got to take into account wages, I guess. So, yeah, wages kind of make this a little bit tough to guess what building will be most profitable, because this number excludes wages, which is very annoying for us. Well, I think I'm going to start out by building some logging camps in Normandy, and we'll hope that the wage isn't too bad. If any, it'll still be a few thousand reinvestment regardless of how bad the wages are, I guess. Can we do our treaty with the US again? Okay, we can. Investment rights, no obligation, and a non-colonization agreement on Dixie. Send proposal. Yes, we get investment rights in the USA as well. Apparently the USA is significantly more profitable, so after this first one, I guess I'll try to queue up some in North Carolina, because I guess those are the most valuable state. The armed forces are finally not like 100% of our clout, so we'll bring in the Democratic Party and start passing consumption-based taxation, because if we get that through, we no longer have to start worrying about our bureaucracy every time we conquer a government administration or something. And it also means that the pops will no longer just get taxed money that we aren't actually getting. I guess actually we should have gone to minimum taxes from the start of this game. Oh yeah, wow, our pop SL is 3.7 right now due to this flood. How is it this bad? Oh no, it's actually due to our colony over here in Africa. Yeah, the colony has 2.6 SOL. What is going wrong in this colony? Huh? Wow. We are running a shortage of grain in our market somehow. Apparently there's a ton of unemployment here, I guess, and they just can't find good work. Maybe we should just cancel this colony, because, yeah, that's not actually great for us. Okay. Maybe we should do Kenya. Maybe there has more arable land. Okay, yes, here doesn't seem to have as much of an arable land shortage. And maybe we could potentially trade this to Great Britain later on, or maybe they would give us they really want a non-colonization agreement on Zanj now. Oh. We can get investment rights in the British Empire. Let's go. This is exactly what we needed. Okay. Very nice. 100% guaranteed investment rights in the British Empire. Okay, that means after this logging camp, I think we maybe start just focusing mostly on opium in India. I think the wages here are going to be significantly less of a problem due to, good old slavery. The Indians have lots of slaves that work in these buildings. You can see 100k slaves. How is Jaipur occupying Agra? This is crazy. What do they think they're doing? I think I didn't realize we passed consumption-based taxation. Maybe I did. I don't think I did though. Well, we no longer have to worry about government bureaucracy. We should probably start firing actually a lot of these commanders. Yeah, the approval isn't going to be that bad. It's not like we need the approval right now. And then we're going to try to get into not having a bureaucracy deficit anymore, because that will mean that we can actually start getting government dividends, which are a pretty serious source of income when your economy is this small. I didn't consider we could technically go command economy, but I think that's kind of cheesing the run, so we're probably not going to do command economy. The power of opium is unreal. That's our reinvestment with 2 opium plantations. We just hit 20 relations, So we can now become a protectorate of America, or we can give America a claim on us. Obviously, that's not going to be a very good idea. America will attack us and eat us, so we'll just become an American protectorate. It's not going to be too bad to... Wait, what? Oh no, I think America has to click something? Wait, what? I'm... Okay, we are an American protectorate. I don't know why I didn't show in that screen, but I guess here we can see we're an American protectorate. We're going to need to worry about becoming an American puppet, because that would mean we can't get investment rights anymore, but as long as that's not a concern, being an American subject is going to be pretty nice, because we do get access to their market, which will make our pops a little bit higher SOL and stuff. Oh, I forgot, we got that non-colonization agreement, so maybe we should stop colonizing over here and change our colony to somewhere else. Yeah, we could do that. I don't know what we want to do. In case you're wondering why we don't just expand construction, right now the government gets control of all 10 of the free construction. If we were to build a construction sector, some of that free construction would get controlled by the private queue, and government construction gets us much, much more reinvestment, and we can actually control it into like good buildings and stuff. So something like 40,000 reinvestment is probably when we want to start building up government or construction sectors. Okay, we're sitting at a really large reinvestment, so I think it's time to start building up a ton of construction sectors. This will actually put us in a giant infrastructure shortage, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Maybe we should start rushing railways, actually, so we can build up infra, because we're going to have huge infra problems in Texas after building up these, like, 10 sectors. Yeah, actually, due to the infra, I think I'm just going to build up 2 construction sectors for now until we get more infra, and this will let us do a little bit of privatization with our investment pool, but we'll still have access to the same amount of government construction, assuming that we can actually afford it. But we have a 4K positive balance, so I think we probably can. Let's see, yeah, like 2 construction sectors doesn't cost 10K or whatever. It's just like 2K, so this shouldn't be that unaffordable, I guess, right? Or how are those that cheap? I feel like construction sectors are cheap or more expensive than this, right? What? Oh no, this is with an 80% goods input reduction. Oh, can we look at a country that is actually using its construction to see how expensive sectors are going to be? Yeah, okay, that's more reasonable. Yeah, we might not be able to afford this. Well, half the money will only be going to the government, so we'll barely be able to afford this probably. Yeah, okay, we're running an inconsequential deficit. Like, this would take 20 years to run out of money. Our great treaty with France keeping us afloat here. Very nice. We can see the start of some reinvestment from financial districts, although for now it's still a very inconsequential amount of money, like a 15th of our total reinvestment, because you remember, we got to multiply all these numbers by 3 to get up to our real amount of reinvestment. It's going to take a while for financial districts to be a significant fraction of our reinvestment. Well, actually, they're probably never going to be. They're going to get replaced by companies, I guess. Companies are so good. Actually, the numbers financial districts are providing is actually going up pretty steadily. They're already up to like 2.5K, which is pretty solid. We're going to start needing we're going to get companies very soon. Or we unlocked our first company slot, actually. Oh, America could reduce us. Wait, they're domineering? Oh. Manifest Destiny makes them domineering towards us. Uh-oh. Okay, well, let's, request regime change and stuff. We want to try to keep our liberty desire high enough so that they can't try to reduce autonomy on us or whatever. And we probably want to try to get, support independences from whoever we can manage that on. Although, there might not be that many people who we can do that. Mexico, will you support my independence? You will, although... Okay, we can agree to not colonize Dixie with Mexico as well. Oh wait, did we lose our treaty with America to do that? Oh, I think we did, so maybe we shouldn't have given that to Mexico, but we get a support independence, which is kind of nice. 0.03 liberty desire, not actually helping us that much. I don't know who America is hated by. Not really that many. I guess Russia we should be able to get support independence from, I'd think. Try to put our interest over in, like, Russia. Russia thinks our army is too small, unfortunately. Don't think we're going to fix that with our 5 troops. That's not going to be anywhere near enough, yeah. You can see, I think they've added some new algorithms so that investment doesn't, like, build up if there's still things to privatize, because I don't think before with 20 construction our reinvestment would be, like, stable. Well, it's not stable, but you can see it's not, like, peaking. It's actually gone down in the last year despite only spending barely any of it on new construction, because it's, I assume, just privatizing random stuff overseas. I would really like to set up a company, but we would need to build 5 buildings of a single category to do that, I've realized. And that is going to be a bit tricky. Like, we could do 5 tooling workshops or whatever, but that would be a lot of construction. So I don't know how we can really do that. It's not really practical to be able to get 5 buildings unless we conquer some stuff, I guess. But even then, it might be a little tricky. We could try to attack Mexico for some territory, I guess, but I do kind of want to keep our reinvestment multi-high, and taking territory will make that a bit tough. We have a really severe problem of I don't know how we're going to get more money. We kind of really need more money in order to be able to expand construction, but we are kind of lacking ways of getting more money. Some would say this is obviously going to be the problem when you're on consumption-based taxation for the meme. But yeah, it is. It's a bit tough to get money. One thing that is really nice though is that literally every IG is loyal because they're getting like plus 14 approval from loyalists, plus 15 approval from loyalists, plus 14 approval from loyalists. It's a little ridiculous. The infra usage on financial districts is a bit of a problem, although luckily they will make the railways probably incredibly profitable. Also, there is one way we could get money. That is declaring bankruptcy. We can just like we can kind of tax the financial districts using bankruptcy in theory, which would be an interesting way of bypassing bankruptcy, just like taxing finish or bypassing no taxes, just bankrupting. But the problem with that is we do get some pretty severe debuffs for bankruptcy, which I don't know about how worth that would be. We should probably get the industrialists and government so we can pass public schools because that would be pretty nice. I think we can afford another construction sector. I'd definitely like to have a bit more construction sectors than this, but I mean, I don't think we want to do the bankruptcy strats at least yet, because it will basically make our province unbuildable, because we'll get like 100% radicals in all of our states, which would be pretty bad, I think. I accidentally clicked an event that gave me a university. That was probably a bad idea. Let's delete that university real quick. Apparently that lost us money. What? What are we paying 500 gov wages for? Oh, that's the construction sectors. I think we build another construction sector. It's probably fine to have a small negative balance. We really need to start getting construction going. We have 25 million unused in the investment pool right now. Maybe if we had invested in more people, we could privatize more. I don't know, but I think we really just need to start getting construction going. I mean, we could try to build a bunch that we actually can't use with manual construction. Maybe this is the way, but we should probably wait for at least railways before we do that, I think. I want to establish a wood company, but unfortunately there's not enough wood in Texas, so I'm going to declare war on Mexico to humiliate them, and then we can return Mexican Texas. And you can see we can call America into this play, and they want like Mexican Colorado or whatever. So we're also going to, use something that's probably going to be very important to this run, which is, of course, enforce money transfer. I think this is going to be pretty useful to be able to get money off of people, because we don't really have a great way of getting money. And then I think maybe we can go conquer like the Rio Grande or something, or do we even have the maneuvers to do something like that and then primary it? That would be like 27 maneuvers if we did that and primaried it, and then, yeah, okay, I think we have the maneuvers for that. So I'm gonna conquer Rio Grande, primary, and then call USA in for return to Mexican Colorado. And I don't think Mexico will back down. Hopefully they won't, because primarying this would be 9 more infamy apparently, which is pretty bad. And yeah, we want the Rio Grande just because with this money, we actually might be able to go past 15 construction sectors if we just let our private queue use its investment pool. And, having a second state would be very useful for that. Russia just flipped protective. That's going to be really nice. We can now get support independence from Russia. Hopefully they'll just accept this. Yep, they do. Okay, that's going to be super nice. So we can get our Liberty Desire up, hopefully without having too bad a relation with the USA, because, the USA has a claim on us. So actually, we really want our relations to be at least plus 20, because the USA can just demand return Texas. And I think if they do that, it doesn't even call in Russia. So that would be really bad. Oh wait, what? Why is America not mobilizing for this war? Hopefully America will mobilize. I'm so confused. What is going on? Okay, well, hopefully America can mobilize in time for us to not get capitulated here. Oh, I guess we are a subject, so we won't capitulate. But we don't like getting this much devastation. Although I guess devastation would have occurred if America had occupied Mexican Texas as well, because it's statewide, even if 2 different owners have the same state. Oh, we can go for a new research. We got railways. Okay, I guess joint stock companies. Okay, we've now Reoccupied Texas. Very nice. I guess I'll start building up a railway in Texas because we really need to get infra solved. Infra solving would be very nice. Then we can actually start expanding construction. The USA just dodging, taking the Rio Grande so the war can't end. This is so sad. The devastation in Texas just keeps going up. Very sad. You're kidding me. This battle is in Zacatecas. No, why will you not just take Rio Grande? Why is the game doing this to me? I can't believe it. Okay, they finally took the Rio Grande. Finally. Okay, this war's gonna end now. And we'll get our enforced money transfer, which is gonna be huge for our balance. You know, that's 3 times our current national balance. Oh, also, let's go move an interest over to North Germany. I think we can do some shenanigans over there with asking all the German miners for money. Okay, the war with Mexico is over now. We can start incorporating the Rio Grande. I guess there actually isn't really a point to incorporation. Actually, let's not incorporate the Rio Grande. We don't really get that much from or I guess the minus 33% state construction efficiency is pretty bad. But the problem is we get this government dividends waste if we did that, which would be pretty bad. So for now, I'm just going to build up our 3 logging camps in Texas so we can get the company going. Oh, we can't get that much money right now. Oh, we were infamous. Okay, that just went away. So now we can really ask for money. We can't get that much. Okay, actually we can't get very much at all due to, what is it? It's because, I guess we can just try to owe them an obligation. Like, what would they use these obligations on? The answer is nothing. So we can just ask for 25-year infinite money treaties from everyone. And some of these guys we can't actually get that much money from, probably. Wait, what? Even this tiny... Oh, wow, all these guys have like 500 money for us. So we can just ask for like 500 money, or even more than 500 from some of these guys. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask for money from all the German miners, and this is gonna make us very rich, I think, actually. This is gonna make us incredibly rich. Oh, I forgot to make a bunch of these 25-year treaties. No! Well, we didn't do that many of them so far. But still, like, the amount of money I'm getting is kind of insane. You know, we're currently getting 21K from treaty, or 22K from treaties. Although, like, a lot of this is the Mexico treaty, but if we look at how much of this is not from Mexico, I mean, it's like 5K and like 3.5K, not including the Algeria trade as well. So, yeah, we kind of just get some free money here, which is super nice. So, America declared for return Texas. Wait, how do I have this? I don't. Oh, I guess Mexico must have colonized that. I'm like, why do we have to disconnect from part of Texas? But anyway, yeah, this is really bad. Luckily, Britain is willing to side with us. If that wasn't the case, this would be doomsday. But anyway, we can go ahead and return, or we can go ahead and demand some money. The maximum amount that only costs half an infamy. Does it actually cost half an infamy? That seems strange. No, it doesn't cost infamy. I don't know why it claims it costs infamy if it doesn't. But anyways, we are gonna need to start mobilizing, I think, just in case. Wait, what? 10? I thought I got 10 troops from here. How did that equal 9? I don't know. We don't question things. We will just get ready for war. And Britain or America puts on more stuff. They're trying to conquer our entire country, including the Rio Grande, and apparently reduce our autonomy. Reduce what autonomy? Who knows? I'm gonna sway Britain in with transfer Texas and Kenya, and then we'll revoke claim on Texas and independence, and I'll primary independence. We gotta get out of America. America is so mean. And then the plan is we're gonna naval invade with this 2-stack into something, or with this 1-stack into something useless, and then we'll use the other stack to hopefully hold the line. I'll take off social mobility, or I'll take off resource industry actually, so we can do enlistment efforts in Rio Grande as well, because we want to get as many. Okay, we only get 1 more line infantry, but I guess that's 1 more line infantry. And yeah, we're just gonna try our best to hold against the Americans. So far the British have sent over 25K. We're very dependent on how much the British send over to the southern front. If it's low, we die. If it's high, we win, basically. Okay, the war has begun. Time to start a naval invasion on Louisiana. This is going to distract. Okay, apparently the Americans get their fleet here in time. So I guess we'll go for like Virginia. We just need it to be a different sea zone. And then that's gonna distract hopefully a bunch of American troops so that they stop invading our territory. And I guess Or, well, while there's an advantage, we don't want our troops to be there because we will potentially incentivize the British to want to attack more, which we definitely do not want the British to do. Oh, the British are losing a battle. Okay, I'm going to send my troops on the front. Oh, actually, our troops are really bad. Wait, what? Our fleet got defeated, but the naval mission is still going? Well, we love to see bugs helping us out here. Um, yeah, I wish we could import some problems that we're having with our barracks. Let's take a look at what we are missing: small arms and grain. Can we get like a treaty of these with the British? No, the British have terrible diplomatic stance with us for some reason. So, oh, perceived fairness of treaties. Dang, yeah, so I guess we can't really do that then. And of course, the Canadians are trying to attack. Foolish Canadians. What is this scam battle? What? Oh, I guess our troops hadn't actually. Some of the troops that were on the front weren't around. That's why the advantage was high for us, but we still lost. Okay. Oh, now the British are winning a battle in Arkansas. Is that going to let the Americans attack us again or something? Okay, they fail in Oklahoma. That's not great. But oh, America's actually losing so much on the other front. Okay. So it might be Jover for them, but the problem is that they can occupy us. Well, if they would take just reducing autonomy on us, but we definitely don't want to give them that. Okay, we're defending that battle. Okay, America's definitely losing the war. Okay, have the fronts just merged? Something happened. I don't know what happened exactly. Doesn't seem like the fronts merged. Oh, the front merged with the western front. Okay. Yeah. So we can almost do a full peace deal. Not quite yet, but soon enough. Very good. We love bugs saving the day. I've actually heard of this bug where this happens. I don't know why this happens. I don't know if this is a consistent thing that happens or whatever, but it is very nice, and I've heard of it before, so it's not just a one-off bug. Okay, we finish off this war with America. Now, we're no longer a subject of America, which is pretty nice. Being an American subject was terrible. We gotta start improving relations with America. Hopefully we can fix it since they don't have a claim on us anymore. We'll see. France just backed down to a big war. They liberated Brittany. They were trying to conquer the Rhineland, but Britain and stuff joined in. I'm trying to find a way to get subjugated by someone. Unfortunately, it's really hard. Oh, Russia's -30 joining us against Belgium? Well, I'm just going to quickly establish Texan Forestries. This is going to be a really nice company giving us logging and tooling workshops. Yeah, it turns out there's basically no way to become a subject. I've tried a million wars, and none of them work. Oh, wait, actually, I didn't consider Brittany, but I don't think it'll work because France is a truce. I don't actually know how much France wants us to become their subject, but I don't think it'll be enough. I've tried a million things. I don't know. I think what might work, though, is once the Ottomans get their truce with Russia done. I just keep moving my interests around looking for sways that are doable, but none of them are, really. Look here. Oh, we can't actually sway France in because, yeah, they have a truce with Brittany. It's really weird that our election is getting dominated by one party. It's pretty rare that you see something like that where you just have a one-party system when you're not on one-party state or whatever. I don't know why this is happening. Well, the Russian truce with the Ottoman Empire is finally over. So, we can go declare on the Ottomans, call Russia in for us becoming the protectorate, then back down before Britain adds in some terrible war goal against us, hopefully. Become protectorate of the Russians. And I would like to, I would prefer to not be a protector of the Russians and instead be a protector of like the British or something. But there's like no way to do that because the British have too much neutrality. So Russia's like our second best country, I guess. And now we just back down and we get humiliated. But now we're a Russian protectorate. Or we should be. Yes, we are a Russian protectorate. Very nice. We need to get support independences from some people. But I don't think that will be that hard. Or hopefully it won't be that hard, like France or something. France actually really hates us right now, so maybe not, but we can just, I guess, ask for like market control and stuff and try to keep our liberty desire high because we want to, of course, not become a subject, or we don't want to become a puppet, but we want to be a protectorate because it comes with so many nice bonuses. Like our market is so bad, but now that we're in the Russian market, we actually are doing pretty decent. We got 200,000 reinvestment. The power of the company headquarters is it's very high. Super duper overpowered. 24,000 dividends from a 20 tooling workshop. Very nice. We're just continuously expanding construction. I'm starting to research steel frame buildings. We can go for even more construction. That will like double the amount of construction we can have. More than that, because it'll also increase our construction sector cap. The company headquarters have finally taken over opium plantations as our #1 source of reinvestment. We're having a big infra penalty. We really need to build up some more railways over here in Texas. We're having big turmoil problems as well. I'm going to remove social mobility and instead put on violent suppression. I am surprised we're having turmoil. We were having like infinite loyalists a little bit ago, but I guess things have changed. I guess it's probably when we conquered Mexican part. I don't know. But it's not ideal. We're just going to have to do the violent suppression, and the construction efficiency isn't too bad now. We're running a pretty big deficit now because our Mexican treaty just ended. Unfortunately, the US treaty is about to end soon, and that is going to mean the loss of most of our money. Yeah, that's like a huge loss of money for us, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get a lot of these construction sectors in first so that the private queue can at least do something while we try to rebuild up money. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to pause construction now, because yeah, that negative balance was not exactly sustainable. If only I could tax the rich, we would be so rich. 19K from prop tax would be very nice, but yeah, we cannot be doing that. We gotta do this without taxes. Taxes are cringe. Oh, well, I went into a bit of debt, and now we're running a negative balance. Well, we can just go minimum gov wages, and now we're doing fine, I guess. The evil Russians are running an iron shortage. We're demanding so much iron for our construction sector. We're over half of the Russian iron demand. Crazy. We're actually like 2/3 of the Russian iron demand. Wow. I just started a colony in the Niger Delta real quick, so we can hopefully renegotiate our investment rights with the British because our timer on that is running out sort of soon. So we want to try to get this back. We've got a 40% chance of accepting. If they don't accept, I think we can colonize in Senegal as well, and that should give us a 100% chance. Okay, they don't. So I'll move my interest over to Senegal. And if we start a colony there too, it should get us like plus 100 approval, and so we should be able to get the treaty through, I think. Just need to be able to start a colony over here in Mauritania. I don't know why the AI always declines your treaties twice. Anyways, let's go start renegotiating again. Remove this, swap this out for... Oh, we need 2 interests in order to do it. We don't have an interest there, it doesn't count. Dang, okay, that's a bit of a problem. Well, we can actually abuse a little bit of a strategy that I've never had to use in a real run up until this point. Basically, this becoming an inactive interest thing, in 1 tick we can actually stop this from triggering, but I'm pretty sure this won't stop triggering in the same amount of time. We can do like this, and then we look at the interest. Oh no, we need at least 2 interests to do that strat. Dang. Okay, actually that doesn't work. Yeah, I guess we can't do it then. I guess I'll just have to keep asking the British for that renegotiation every year, and hopefully they'll accept. Wait, apparently we can ask the British already again? Okay. Okay, they decline again. Is there like no cooldown on renegotiations? Wait, is there actually no cooldown on renegotiations, or is this fake? I guess if we try enough times, we can find out if there is no cooldown, or if it's just fake scam. I just need deleted investment rights, but yeah, I guess we can just keep asking until hopefully they accept. Or we realize that this is almost certainly just, there is a cooldown, but we can't see it. I mean, that's almost certainly what's going on, right? Yeah, there has to actually be a cooldown, and we're just not seeing it. I'm going to start building 1 coal mine. I do want to start trying to get up to 5 coal mines in Texas, because getting the coal company would be pretty good. We could also go for this company, but we would have to build 5 steel mills in Rio Grande, which would be pretty tough. Our Liberty Desire situation is not very good. We actually are potentially going to get reduced to be a puppet because, I mean, they're protective, so they won't reduce it until we're like at 5 Liberty Desire, I think. But we really need to fix our Liberty Desire somehow. Getting a British support independence would definitely help out with that. But we do need to wait. Or is our treaty cooldown up? Because we don't see it with the British here, so I guess I'll try asking them again. Although, actually, I don't know if this obligation thing is going to work. I think the obligation part might not be counting. Because it should in theory, since we don't have an obligation owed to them anymore. But I don't think that it is counting. I guess we'll just try renegotiation again, and we will hope that things work out. They have an 52% chance of saying yes, but they don't. So yeah, like with how many times we've asked, it's probably more likely that that isn't counting. I wonder how much investment pool, if we had that, could we just build construction forever and just soar our way to like a billion GDP? I think, or not a billion GDP, but however much we need to become like number one. I think that if we had like a billion in investment pool, it would be enough. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that that would be pretty close at least. Britain has withdrawn from the Convention of Galveston. Okay, it's time to do a treaty with Britain. Investment rights, non-colonization agreement, Niger. No obligation. Great. Okay, they have a 77% chance of accepting. Good. Sign, please. Yes. Okay. Now it's very good. With the plus 0.1 from Britain, we should be in slightly better condition to not get autonomy reduced from Russia. I have now built 5 coal mines. Unfortunately, we're now apparently running a deficit. What happened to all of our government-owned opium plantations? Did they all get nationalized? What? Oh, they all got privatized at some point? No! That's so much of our government income gone. We need to find a way to get more money. Uh-oh. Yeah, we actually like can't run a positive balance right now. Oh no. But anyway, let's go establish this new company, United Texas Mineral Producers. Give it iron mines, and then a monopoly. Oh, we need more authority. I guess we can remove enlistment efforts. Those aren't going to be that important. And let's keep on road maintenance, I think. And then we can go and give the final monopolies. Okay, that's going to be pretty good. We should really be using investment rights. I really should have used investment rights. What am I doing? Yeah, that would have been really good. Maybe it's too late for it to be worth it at this point. Or actually, we have so much investment pool. No, we need more investment pool, actually. I should have done this way earlier. What was I thinking? Anyway, we need to remove road maintenance in order to get the authority, unfortunately. Is there any other way for us to get authority? No, unless we need to make the church get to 20% clout, then that's not happening. So I guess I'll give this company investment rights now, and that should be really good for getting us some stuff in the long term, because now we'll have like a million charters or regional HQs in the British Empire, hopefully, that will use British construction to build, which is much better than our construction of only 130. And then we just need to store up like a billion investment pool, I think. If we have a billion investment pool, I think we can stop worrying about the investment pool and just start like figuring out ways to get money, and then go on conquest sprees to get land to use the money on. Wait, what? We're running negative 7K? What are we spending so much money on? Government wages? Oh, I had government wages on max, right? That makes some sense. Okay. Yeah, we need to make money somehow. Let's go put an interest over here in North Germany. We need to go extort the North Germans for more money. Okay, after a couple more treaties with the North Germans, we're now running a positive balance again, barely. We're probably going to have to start stealing people's money a bit more. What we could do is like try to steal a big subject. Actually, that would be a really good way to get money. Question is like, could we steal something like the Dutch East Indies? We definitely can't steal the Raj yet, although that would be a good long-term goal. It's not exactly practical at the moment. Could we steal the Dutch East Indies? I'll try to move my interest over there and we'll see what we can do. I don't think we'll be able to, but if we could, that would be really good. Unfortunately, transferring the Dutch East Indies isn't quite possible yet. We need to get at least 10 more maneuvers, either from psychiatry or minor power. Because the problem is, we can call in the British sometimes, but we have 60 maneuvers, which means that we have to transfer Dutch East Indies, and then we have to primary that before we call the British in, pretty much. And that means the British won't accept joining, which is a big problem. We'd either need a 0 maneuver transfer, or a 0 maneuver sway, or we need 10 more extra maneuvers. And yeah, there's not really too many good sources of that. If we could like resign from office, that would be one way, I guess. But we actually just can't. You know, we have over 10 approval, so even if we passed a -20 law, it wouldn't be enough. So I think I'll queue up psychiatry as our next tech. And we also might just try after they run out of bankruptcy penalty and see if that'll make them not just back down to any play when they're -75. I think there's a good chance that they won't back down once they're not bankrupt. But as they're bankrupt right now, they really just don't want to do things. So we got incredibly lucky, and we got cross-border investments. Now, after a lot of testing, I found that a war with Sambas for humiliation is going to be the best way to put a call on the British. And with the power of magic, we will be able to call them in. We do quickly need to go worry about our Russian Liberty Desire. Having 10 Liberty Desire is not ideal. Let's just quickly ask for support regime. That'll give us a little bit more Liberty Desire. As long as they stay protective, we should be fine. Anyways, I'm just going to quickly transfer Dutch East Indies. And now the British don't want to join us yet, but we can now use cross-border investments. That gives us 30 relations. Now the British do want to join us. Now the British should be at 63 relations soon enough. We need them to be at 63. Okay, now we can primary this for 26 infamy, but before we do that, let's transfer Texan Niger Delta sway Britain, then primary transfer Dutch East Indies, and we get the play. Transfer Dutch East Indies primary, and it does cost us 76 infamy to do this. Unfortunately, directly declaring for it is not possible to sway Britain in. I don't know why doing this shenanigans helps, but it does. And yeah, with that, we get the Dutch East Indies, which is going to be a pretty huge step in our conquest, because, you know, before this, we've had basically no domestic territory. Wait, did the Netherlands actually just back down? I think so. That's kind of surprising, considering there was no non-primary war goals, but I guess they were bankrupt, so they were like minus 100. Yeah, they backed down despite having 100% primary war goals. That is pretty rare. But yeah, we'll take having the Texan East Indies now. Unfortunately, it is very disloyal, but or yeah, if it was a colony, we would be in much better shape. Unfortunately, it's a dominion, which means it's going to be very hard to keep loyal. Maybe we'll just eventually have to declare to reduce autonomy on it. I don't know. We'll find some sort of way. Well, getting like 10,000 from the Texan East Indies is pretty nice. Once they're done passing agrarianism, we'll try to get them to pass per capita taxation because that should be way more money considering they literally have like zero peasants at this point. So I don't know what money they're even making from land base. They must be making it from consumption taxes, right? I guess we can take a look if they have any consumption taxes. They like must, right? Yeah, they do have some consumption taxes on tobacco. Now it's done passing agrarianism. Please pass per capita taxation. Oh wow, its liberty desire is so high. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hopefully it will... Nope, it refuses. Well, that's annoying. If it doesn't want to pass per capita taxation, I don't really know what we do. We gotta figure out a way to keep this guy loyal, but it's gonna be tough until we get prestige, which we do not have at the moment. We can become a major or a minor power if we up gov wages now, which is pretty nice. Also, just having some stream of money that's actually consistent is also nice. I guess I can continue asking the Texan East Indies to pass this. I mean, it might hurt our relations if they say no, but our relations are already so terrible that I don't feel like it matters. Unfortunately, they do keep on refusing. I don't know if it's a 100% chance though, so maybe we should ask them every year, but also it will kill our relations if we do that. Probably if they're defiant, it's probably 100%. I don't know. Maybe if we start improving relations enough, they'll stop being defiant and then we can do it. Oh, we got steel frame buildings. Let's try to swap up on Texas. Hopefully this won't cause a shortage. It causes a slight shortage of everything. You know, what could possibly go wrong here? Except for everything that's definitely going wrong. Okay, let's try just swapping up the Rio Grande one for now. That one should cause a little bit less shortages, hopefully. Hopefully the prices in the Russian market can adjust. Maybe we should try building up some trade centers here. I don't know, maybe that would be pretty profitable. We are now getting more than 500,000 reinvestment per week, which is pretty nice. It says there's a famine in Texas, but only 6% of people are starving. I don't know if I'd exactly call that a famine. I'm gonna try the steel frame swap up. Maybe we can just go through the shortages. What's the worst that happens? We run 50% shortage? That's not that bad, right? So we are running a small positive balance right now, so maybe we should try to spend that on something. I guess we could build up a small army, although, yeah, we can't really make a very large army. Maybe we should try to go pro-army or mass conscription. We can't go mass conscription yet. Pro-army might be good. Thing is, I do think a conscript army probably makes more sense for a no taxes run. Well, our Liberty Desire situation right now is really bad. I'm gonna put an interest in Senegal, and Anatolia. We need to try to get support independence from like France and the Ottomans or something. It's really not looking good. We need to stay a protectorate. We cannot become a puppet. That would be a game ending, basically. Um, okay. Non-colonization agreement. Support independence. No obligation. And I guess we have to give the French some money. I mean, we can try the 25% chance, I guess. Oh, okay, they accepted. We should probably have done more than 5 years, but it doesn't really matter. I'm sure in 5 years we won't need the support independence as much. And actually, the French might be willing to. No, they don't want to keep this treaty going yet. Or once our infamy drops below 25, maybe they will. Anyway, um, okay, the Ottomans are a little bit easier. We can just do something like this and get support independence from the Ottomans. And now our liberty desire is going up, so we won't have any fear of getting reduced autonomy. I'm gonna start trying to go for civilizing mission because I want to try to conquer some stuff over here and then grant it to the Texan East Indies so we can hopefully reduce them to a colony because, you know, we can do grant state shenanigans to annex colonies, but dominions, there really isn't too much you can do. So yeah, that's going to be very essential. And maybe we can also use that to get their liberty desire low enough to hopefully pass per capita taxation or something. Everything will just be so much better if we can do that. I think the long-term plan for the run is probably going to be to try to eat up India after that goes free from the British Empire. I really don't know how else we would make it to the end, and I think if we just eat up India in like the mid or in the early 1900s, hopefully we can industrialize that enough to pass up Britain. I don't think that that's too unrealistic of a solution. I don't actually know what else could work. We try to build up a power base ready for like 1900 or something when India goes free and hopefully splits off of enough of it that we can eat up the rest and get like more population than the British. Although convoys will actually be a significant concern because we will have to get our independence at some point if we want to become the #1 GP. Well, Britain ate Aceh. That's pretty annoying because I do want to try to use that as one of the states we granted to the Texan East Indies. Let's go eat Sintang before the British eat that too. Just need to make sure that they don't eat up all the states that we can grant to the Texan East Indies because we need to reduce autonomy on the Texan East Indies eventually. We're slowly getting closer and closer to having like a billion investment pool stockpile, which I think is what we're going to need to pass up the British in the late game because the British go so high eco in the late game. Although if we like lib some stuff from them, we can probably reduce their eco a little bit. I think we still want to have a very, very large amount of investment pool to make sure that we can just spam construction in India and stuff and let the private queue get us to what we need. Texan West Borneo is worth 38 liberty or 18 liberty desire. That's pretty decent. The Texan East Indies have the industrialists in government, so we're gonna tell them to pass per capita. And yeah, that's gonna be a huge increase in income, all the way from 10k to 63k, and that'll mean that we get like 20k more in our Diplo Pact from them, because yeah, we get like a third of their money. Russia's going for an invasion of France. Okay, interesting. We'll see how this war goes. We're getting pretty close to hitting 1 million in reinvestment. Oh, I think the Texans must have, or the Texan East Indies, yep, they passed per capita because we're now making a lot more money because our Diplo from the Texan East Indies just doubled, which is super nice. That means we can continue to expand construction and we have a little bit less to fear in terms of running out of money because we get so much money from our subject now. Very nice. Definitely still need more money, but it's a much better amount of money now at least. I'm gonna go for the conquest of Bali next. I want to get a bunch of states ready to transfer to the Texan East Indies eventually so we can get them to be a colony. The Russians are running very low shipping lane effectiveness due to this war with France. Hopefully they'll just like capitulate because like this war is really not going well for them. I guess this was actually a very nice jump in our liberty desire, although it does cancel our support independence from France. Okay, the war with France is over now. Looks like I got a white piece. Our state is doing a bit better now. Okay, I guess we need more infra here actually is now the problem, so I guess I'll start trying to build up 2 railways. It is going to cost us quite a bit of money, but we got to get that infra solved. Oh, we got civilizing mission. Okay. What text do you want to go for next? Could actually go like investment banks for another company, I guess. That doesn't sound too terrible. I'm going to transfer the Philippines This will be pretty nice. More states we can grant to the Dutch East Indies, assuming these guys are a colony and not a dominion. And it also is just, more subjects, which is always nice. Yeah, we don't want to add anything too hard to enforce, because we want to be able to use our land border. Russia doesn't have that big of a fleet. I don't know if they can land Spain or whatever, so we don't want to make them do that. We'll look at what, yeah, Britain only wants to join for transfer Texas and East Indies, so I guess we'll sway in the Russians, because I don't think we can win this war on our own. But I think Spain backed down. Okay, well that's nice. We get the Philippines as a colony. Now let's look at all of these added up. 26 plus 29 plus 18 plus 10. That's definitely more than 75. Which means if we grant all of these to the Texan East Indies, that is going to mean, and we don't even have to grant them all. Okay. The Texan East Indies is now a colony, and the Liberty Desire change is going to be significantly slower now that they aren't getting the prestige multiplier. Their economic dependence is 0, so that's still not amazing, but they're not like instigating their Liberty Desire back. I'm going to grant Mindanao back to Philippines though, because they will actually be able to incorporate it since it has Filipino culture, whereas the Texan East Indies can't incorporate that stuff since it's Dutch. And yeah, now we're making like 50k from Diplopacks, which is a nice little improvement. Unfortunately, even while subsidizing the railways, no one wants to work in them in the Rio Grande, which is a little bit annoying because I was hoping to be able to expand construction here, but it's not really practical if just no one's going to work in the railways. So we might need to go conquer some more states to get more construction sectors, because we definitely want to have more construction. We want to conquer states that have relatively low populations, I think, but also not that low. And we don't want 1,000,000 people to join against us, so maybe Mexico isn't the play. Although maybe if you declare for like New Mexico or something, it's a little bit better. Nope, apparently Prussia and the Ottoman Empire are both guaranteeing their independence. Yeah, I don't know. We need to find somewhere where we can get states to construct with that aren't terrible. Maybe Transvaal and Orania are decent places. We just don't want to get too much GDP yet, because I do want to keep getting our investment pool up for now. Like 1 billion, we're still only halfway there or something. I think 1 billion is going to be enough, but I don't think half 1 billion will be enough. Like UK is at 220 million GDP. Maybe 1 billion isn't even enough, actually. I don't know. Yeah, 1 billion might not be enough. I actually don't even know that we can naval invade into these countries. We probably can't. How do we get some states to build construction sectors in? Maybe the Central American countries are decent? Maybe we could invade some of these random Central American countries. That it doesn't seem terrible. Maybe I'll put one of my interests there and give that a shot. I'm gonna stop our research to enlistment offices. I want to start getting up an army so we can like actually invade people. Yeah, we need to get an army going so we can invade Mexico. Because what I'm thinking we can like invade Honduras or something. Mexico is likely to join, and then we can take some states from Mexico. That seems like a decent play. We at least want to get a coast on the west here so that once we get our independence, we are somewhat close to our subjects over here in the east. Or maybe we want to get some state over here that we can start incorporating. I guess since we're just sort of running a max pile of balance, and we're probably at the point where gold reserves cannot really stockpile. Yeah, they're just 95% of the money is going to the void at this point. So what I'm gonna do is I guess just start building up a navy with our money because I don't know what else to use it on. So I guess we might as well use make a navy. That would be something at least. Also, I should probably start banning slavery. That would be good, so we can pass multiculturalism eventually. Oh, we're actually nearly profiting 1 million a week into the investment pool. This is very nice. Oh, we are getting 1 million a week into the investment pool now. 1.28 million reinvestment just keeps going up. Very nice. I think at 1 billion we might just stop trying to keep our GDP intentionally low and start conquering random countries like not Dainam, I guess they're a protectorate, but like Siam or whatever. Just try to get pop so we can actually, expand our economy because we do need to become a great power at some point. Britain with 8,000 prestige. Oh no. We just researched mass conscription, but we're currently passing slavery ban. Once that's done, we'll try to go for mass conscription, I guess. Although it's going to be kind of a tough pass, I think. Because the southern planters are not going to be very happy. But at least the trade unions will be pretty happy. What's our block? The British bloc has so much GDP, it's unbelievable. Luckily, they'll lose a lot of that once India breaks free, which is going to happen in probably like a decade or two. Since the USA has like 500 conscripts, I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten attacked by them yet. Like, or I mean, we got attacked by them once, but like they didn't attack us again. Kind of surprising considering that they could do it, you know. Like, I don't think Russia has that many troops compared to 500 conscripts, so I'm pretty surprised we haven't gotten attacked. But of course, I'm very happy. This vast majority of the cost of our navy is in the military wages, so I guess I'll upgrade up to ironclads, because yeah, the cost of this is going to be tiny compared to the wages we're spending on this anyway. Might not have really been worth making a navy. The cost of mill wages on this is so high, because our average wage, I guess, is just incredibly high in our country. Yeah, the 41 annual wage to these guys is actually insane. What? What in the world are we paying a... How did our normal wage get so high? These buildings have all slaves. Oh, that's the problem. All these buildings are just running full slavery. And then it's like just these buildings that have workers, so our average wage is just super high. Okay. Once the third of our country that's slaves gets freed, that should hopefully fix the average wage. We finally passed slavery ban. That's real nice. Now we can start going for mass conscription. We definitely want to actually be able to build up an army. Also, let's take a look at how much lower our wages are now that we've passed that. Yeah, the wages just got cut in half. Let's go. No more having to pay the most ridiculous wages ever. So that's nice. The wages are still really high, but they're at least somewhat sustainable now. Oh, with slavery banned, it looks like Rio Grande is now actually employable. I'll try to build up some construction sectors here, and hopefully we can, yeah, get them going. Wow, like half the pops here are slaves that we brought in from Africa. The power of slave trade. Our reinvestment just keeps going up. Now we're at nearly 1.5 million reinvestment coming in. It's always super nice to see this go up because it means we'll hit higher investment pools quicker. Kind of want more than 1 billion because I'm realizing, you know, UK GDP just keeps growing. I mean, it's gonna hit a wall soon, right? Unless did the British actually... No, oh, the British went racial segregation. So they're gonna get more migration than normal. Yeah, they're... Oh, they just annexed like 1 million pops. Oh, they took Agra. Oh, they took Agra. That gives them a ton of pops, but yeah, hopefully the British are gonna get pop stuck pretty soon here, which is gonna be nice for us. We're nearly at 30 SOL in Texas. I guess we should maybe build some unis. I don't know, they are probably actually gonna be incredibly expensive. We probably couldn't get that much innovation from them. There's really not that much we can use this money that we have on right now. Gotta wait till we can build up an army with mass conscription. Oh, we finally got two separate parties that actually are real. Unfortunately, the party that won the election has no clout. Yeah, that's not ideal. Finally passed mass conscription. Somehow passing mass conscription just fired everyone from the Rio Grande construction sector. I'm very confused. I'm so confused how that happened. But anyways, I guess I'll just start building up some more army in Texas so that we can have an army to actually win wars. Oh wow, we need a pretty big army to actually be able to beat Mexico. Yeah, they have a big army. Oh, we hit 30 SOL nationwide. Nice. 32 SOL in Texas is crazy. Actually, like, not that useful to have this much SOL, but it's kind of cool. You know, since mass conscription gives us plus 100% training rate, I'm actually gonna go minimum military wages because this negative 75% training rate will get canceled out by the plus 100%, leaving us with plus 25%, which, you know, isn't terrible. We should also turn on general training though. That would, you know, speed up the training quite a bit. Well, I think it's basically going to be impossible to beat Mexico until we're like maybe way further in because Mexico has 150 battalions. And yeah, we just can't afford 150 battalions. So I guess instead I'm going to start conquering some stuff over here in Indochina. We've got almost 900 million in the investment pool, so I'm thinking it's time to just start going for having pops to start GDPing up with, start researching techs and stuff. Well, I'm starting to run a negative balance even on minimum government wages, minimum mill wages. Maybe I expanded the military a little bit too large. I guess we'll have to like reduce skirmish infantry by 5. I'm barely running a positive balance now. Barely. The next country, Siam. And then I guess we want to split this actually into a 30 stack. Yeah, we need to split this into a 30 stack. So let's do 15, 15, mobile artillery. And that should be perfect for doing a naval invasion. And I guess we need an army for this one. And then, yeah, we'll just send this army over to Indonesia along with the navy. Burma sided with Siam and Tibet. I guess we can conquer some states from Burma. I don't know. Pegu, or, how do we get a connection to these states best? I guess we should conquer Champasak, and then Pegu and Mandalay. Sure, that's something. Pegu will like give us a connection to India, so we can conquer that stuff later and stuff. So I think this is good stuff to conquer. Although it might make the Raj mad at us, but I think, yeah, the Raj is a colony anyway, so it won't matter. India just broke apart. Very nice. Yeah, the British abandoned India, and this happens. Super nice. This is gonna mean we can eat up India now, which is of course gonna be very essential to the run. We can't eat up India. I don't know how he'd become number one from this position, but yeah, that's gonna be super nice. Which we couldn't have declared this war because there's so much valuable land to take while all these countries are incorporating this stuff. As a minor power, it's gonna be like so free to conquer this stuff while they're incorporating it. Oh, we have so much interest we can declare now that we have that giant navy. That's really nice that we can just declare a ton of interest with that big navy. Oh, the Texan East Indies is taking over our naval invasions instead of us. Okay, well, I guess we can just go declare for something like Annex Hyderabad. This would be 21 infamy. What would it be to like annex it in pieces? It would be 0, 0, and 8. Well, that sounds a little bit cheaper. Okay. Conquer for 8. And then conquer, primary. Very balanced. We love conquering states for 0 infamy. The reason for this, by the way, is they're an unrecognized power, which means negative 50%. And then it's an unincorporated state, which means negative 50%. And since we're a minor power, that equals negative 100%. They stack additively. Normally, if you're a great power, you get plus 20%, so they cost at least something. But for us, these states are literally free. Oh, Cochin has decided to join the war. Oh, wait, they have Maharashtra as well? No, I'm not conquering that. That's so bad in value. I will conquer Mysuru, and then I guess we'll conquer Kerala as well. Yeah, these are going to be tons of GDP we're going to be getting easily over here. This is going to jump up our GDP, though, which means we will stop getting our reinvestment multi, which is kind of sad, but we have almost $1 billion investment pool to slowly run down. We can run a negative 1 million for 2 decades. Oh, I don't have enough convoys. Dang. Yeah, I should have more than one convoy, probably. That would be smart to have more than one convoy in our whole country, or in our whole economy. Yeah, we need a bit more ports so that we can actually have an army that wins. It's gonna lose like this. Actually, it might win against Cochin. Or no, it's not, because we're gonna have the penalty as well. We need at least some org. 0.3 infamy to annex Patna? Sure, I'll take it. We've got a 27 million credit limit. We might just need to intentionally bankrupt at some point. So, yeah, we probably just won't have to worry about our debt. Yeah, I think we are going to have to intentionally bankrupt at some point. I don't know. I mean, maybe we won't. We need a little bit more org. We're still only at 9% org. We need so many more convoys. I guess, like, yeah, a ton of our convoys are getting given to the Russians, which is a bit of a problem, I guess. But yeah, we just need to build up a ton of ports here, which is going to cost a lot of money, but we gotta do it. Ports, where are they? What? Am I blind? I am indeed blind. Okay, I tried an attack. It did not go very well. We need to wait for more org. But yeah, that's going to mean a lot more convoys, which is going to mean more interest and stuff. We're definitely going to go into a lot of debt to fund all these ports, but we need the convoys. Manpower seems to be recovering incredibly slowly. Maybe this negative 75% training rate and whatever don't stack how I thought they would. Because yeah, this is not training many people. Let's try increasing meal wages and let's see, maybe that will give us a bit more training rate. No, we're still like decreasing troop counts. I don't know what's going on. Very strange. Okay, let's try going on advance now. I think we're probably gonna lose, but we gotta try. Come on, please. Let's see. No, we lose that battle, dang. Okay, let's just cancel it before we lose all of our manpower. We need to hold at least some of our manpower. Well, we're really getting not much of our income from government dividends, so I guess we might as well start incorporating all of our new territories. Oh, Hyderabad is in default. That is going to be pretty nice. Yeah, okay, we're winning this battle, and battles are going to get much easier as Hyderabad goes further and further into default, because they're also bankrupt, so the modifiers are going to stack till their defense is basically zero. They're currently at negative 60%, but that's going to get to nearly negative 100%, I think. Yeah, currently they're getting negative 8% from defaulting on loans, but that's going to go up pretty quickly to be negative 100%. We're getting pretty close to landing in Kerala. Just one more battle, and then we'll be landed. And then with Hyderabad in default, it shouldn't be too difficult to do them as well. Oh, unfortunately, France is conquering Carnatic. That's a lot of potential GDP lost. Okay. Yeah, Kerala is about to capitulate, and then we can go in on Hyderabad. Let's hire 4 generals so we can push faster. Very nice. Yep, our GDP has like 10x to 18 million. We're gonna start incorporating because bureaucracy is irrelevant. Still got like a million reinvestment right now, despite our reinvestment multi tanking, which is quite nice. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to bankrupt. Yeah, it's almost certain that we're gonna have to bankrupt at some point. Subsidies are very expensive. We gotta move our market capital over here at some point, but that's gonna be like 20 years away. Nice, we've annexed Hyderabad. More territory to start incorporating. It's going to be nice for our investors to have something to invest domestically. Unfortunately, they're probably not going to do it too much. We should probably cancel out our investment rights in people. Or actually, investors are actually investing a lot domestically. We should probably stop having investment rights in people. Actually, we probably have lost most of our investment rights, haven't we, at this point? Yeah, it looks like our treaty with the UK is over. I don't know who else we would have investment rights with at the moment. Oh, it looks like USA and America are fighting, or USA and UK are fighting, which is very good because that's gonna make UK or USA a lot weaker, and we definitely wouldn't want USA to be fighting us. Yeah, this war is gonna be terrible for America because Canada plus Mexico alone almost have as much, or they actually do have as much power projection as America. Oh, apparently we're in this war. Okay, I didn't know Russia was in it too. Okay, Russia's on the British. Wait, the British aren't actually in this war. It's just Canada, Mexico, Russia, Prussia. Okay. Um, yeah, that's not great. Luckily, they don't have a war goal against us, but we could get occupied here and get lots of devastation, which might be a bit bad. Yeah, we're almost certainly gonna get our Texas land occupied here. Luckily, they didn't go for like conquer Texas or anything because we weren't actually in the war originally, or else that would have been very bad for us because that's where like all of our reinvestment is. Actually, I guess the companies would have relocated somewhere else, yeah. So it wouldn't have been that bad. We should go try to kill Pegu real quick. I mean, try to kill Burma real quick. Oh, I was wondering why our budget's so bad. We have a bunch of useless government administrations. Let's delete these. Oh, we have to go make the national movement happy. Um, oh, we don't have human rights invented yet. We definitely need to go invent human rights. Yeah, that's essential. Um, yeah, they won't actually like cultural exclusion enough. That's a bit of a problem. We can't make these guys happy. Okay. Or wait, we can actually. They're gonna become happy. Okay, once they become happy, we can delete the government administrations, and that will make our budget so much less terrible. It's still gonna be negative, but by a lot less. Or yeah, by a lot less. That'll be good. And we can maybe subsidize a few less ports. That might. Oh, now the labor movement doesn't like us. Okay. Hmm. I guess we can try to pass public health insurance. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Please, labor movement, stop being mad. Hopefully we don't have another political movement ready to go. Um, I guess we'll see. Okay, we don't. Now we can start deleting government administrations. Because, yeah, we cannot afford to have government administrations when you don't have taxes. It's such a waste of money. Okay, we can never upgrade an institution ever again. Now this budget is kind of sustainable. We need like a little bit more money somehow. I don't know how we get a little bit more money. We don't really have a way to get more money, but if we could get more money, it wouldn't be too bad. Apparently, we gave Champasak to the Texan East Indies on accident. Oh, I also gave Pegu to them? Dang. What? All this stuff has a market access through this? Or through this? That's crazy. Wow. So they actually have market access to the Khalsa Raj and stuff. Khalsa Raj is doing insane with like 60 million GDP. Honestly, I have like no idea how we're gonna past the British economy. It's going to be very tricky. They have like 8,000 prestige. We're still sitting at 500. We need to grow our economy a lot more. I'm going to demand China open their market. We really have, a slightly more capitalistic intent of this war, transferring like 150,000 money from them. But, you know, we just need to call the British in real quick. Unfortunately, the British have large ideological differences, so we will just quickly swap governments to the other party. And yeah, now the British are a little bit more willing to join. We'll see what they want in exchange for joining. So we can sway them with an obligation. Do we want to fight the British in the next 10 years? Almost certainly not. I think this is worth giving up an obligation to get them to join us. Okay. And then enforce money transfer. 149,799. Now the Chinese are actually. Oh, we can't primary this? Uh-oh, that's not good. Yeah, that's actually really bad that we can't primary that. Okay, yeah. How do we make them not back down then? I don't actually know that we can make them not back down if we can't primary that. Dang. Hopefully they just don't back down. I'm going to demand China liberates Formosa. But really, what I'm here to demand is all of China's money. You look at enforce money transfer to the max. It costs us 53 maneuvers and 23 infamy, but we get a very solid 148,000 pounds. Anyway, we do need to wait till we can call the British in. Let's change governments because the British really do not like our current government. Yeah, now they're a little bit more willing to join the play, only negative 15. Now, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that we cannot primary a Wargle and spend some maneuvers on Britain, so what we're going to have to do is put the enforced money transfer in, then we'll have to sway Britain in. We can either give them Texan Malaya or an obligation. I think that we probably want to give them Texan Malaya. Texan Malaya isn't that valuable. I mean, how much actually can we use this in a treaty for? It's only 23 acceptance in a treaty, so definitely just want to give them that, I think. And then, we primary this, and they accept joining us, right? Surely? Yes, we get Britain on our side, and now we get to steal all of China's money. This will make us very rich. Oh, unfortunately, our construction sectors have decided to unemploy. Hopefully, once we get human rights and pass multiculturalism, we can start building up tons of construction using all this Chinese money. Oh, you'll probably have to abdicate to multiculturalism. Oh, but this guy, we can't resign him to multiculturalism, can we? Because I don't think armed forces disapprove of it. Unless we get an ethno-nationalist or something. A reformer. A reformer would. Oh, but we have a moderate that's likely to get picked. We could delete this admiral, actually. Yeah, we can fire that admiral. You're fired! And then we need to get a new admiral here so this fleet doesn't run out of org. But yeah, we just need to pray to the RNG gods that we get a reformer. Oh, no, this guy's the ruler and politician, so we can't actually exile him. Oh, that's a bit of a problem. Yeah, I don't know how we fix that then. I guess we'd have to get like an ethno-nationalist on our industrialist or something, and don't think that's gonna happen. Unless we can get like an armed forces guy from here. Yeah, there's not really a way we can do this, I guess. We'll have to manually pass multiculturalism. At least I don't think we have any IGs that really oppose it. Yeah, it's not gonna be that hard of a pass, I guess. Okay, the war with China has begun. I think that the British should be able to pretty easily win. The Chinese are at like negative 75 from relative military strength, so I'm thinking that they should easily lose the war. Darn uprising trying to stop me from passing multiculturalism by massively reducing my success chance. How could you? Why? Dang, the Chinese decided to defend Formosa. Well, we can't really land it with one troop. Finally passed we finally got human rights, which means we can go past multiculturalism now. That's gonna be very good. Okay, we can now make peace with China. We're securing our infinite money. Thank you for the money, China. That will be very useful for our expansion. Time to start max queuing up construction sectors in every single Indian state. Unfortunately, it looks like Mysore might have some construction problems. Apparently all these twos are lies. I don't know what these twos are supposed to mean. But we don't have authority to spend on this, unfortunately. That's pretty unfortunate. We might want to delete some of our monopolies so that we can actually have authority to spend on violent suppression in Mysore. I don't know. Might just have to wait for incorporation and stuff. Oh, we're getting scammed by government administrations again. We gotta go delete our government administrations. How could the game do this to me? I hate government administrations. Oh, and we have a ton of universities. We probably don't want this many universities. I don't know. I mean, we're not running that bad of a balance, which just because we're constructing a bunch right now. Once construction is done, it probably won't be that bad. We could get independence here. We can request stuff from Russia and then get 90 Liberty Desire. Question is, do we actually want independence? Because getting our own market is going to be a little bit annoying. Oh, apparently the British don't want us to join them. I assume if we conscript up, we can probably get them to want to be our friends, right? Surely. Surely the British want to be my friend. No, they don't. Wow, that's surprising. We could get them to support our independence and we could declare independence, though. Question is, like, do we want independence right now? The thing is, we will have to actually get convoys that if we do that, which would be pretty annoying. I don't know how much of the convoys right now we're currently providing. I think not that many, relative to how many we would have to use. I guess the Texan East Indies has a lot of convoys. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait till later. If we get our independence, we're gonna have a giant convoy shortage. We could technically intentionally get Texas conquered by America, because I'm pretty sure they're still belligerent. And then our market capital would probably move over here, and then we might be fine. But, I mean, I kind of want to keep Texas the whole run, so I think we're just going to wait till we can move our market capital, which is going to be another 15 years. It looks like Russia just ended up backing down to that play. Yep. With multiculturalism finally signed, we can start getting huge amounts of people working in all these construction sectors. Our construction is going to go from like 700 to 1.4 thousand real quick here. Now we get the New Colossus journal entry. I don't know what we're missing to get New Colossus. We're missing no migration controls and an average SOL of 12. Okay. I think going laissez-faire probably makes some sense now that we're not really investing in overseas, so monopolies are less important. Also, I think a labor movement civil war might be nice. If we get a really big labor movement, then I might not want to do this. But if it's small, yeah, okay, this is small. So I'm thinking we intentionally fight the civil war so we can clear out some radicalism. Because having like Mysore constantly in turmoil is very bad. If this state could get built up and stuff, it would be much better for us. I'm gonna go conquer Malwa because I do kind of want to see how practical it would be to ask the British for Agra because it's an unincorporated state, so they might be willing to give it up. I think it's unlikely, but if we can, that would be super worth it. No matter like basically what we have to give up, it's gonna be worth it. Because we can get something like 200 acceptance fairly easily. We don't even have to figure out a way to get like a non-colonization agreement. You know, just get like 173 acceptance just like that. And we don't have any states we can give away or anything else. Easy. I guess we can give away monopoly rights as well. So we can pretty easily get to like 200 something acceptance. Okay, all these remaining ones actually have super low state construction efficiency and they're like never building. I have to pause government construction because we're running huge negative balance. We need to just try to get out of debt. We're actually not going to get out of debt before the treaty runs out, I'm pretty sure, with China. Yeah, we only have 3 years left. Agra is actually takeable. Okay, this is a big scam. Um, yeah, for the low, low price of everything, we can get the British to give us Agra. We actually probably would prefer to give them some company monopolies. Yeah, we'll give them or do we want to give them monopoly on ports? Monopoly on trade centers probably isn't that bad. Monopoly on... Wait, we can give multiple companies monopolies on trade centers? That's overpowered. Easy acceptance. Let's go. We're scamming the AI. Okay. Well, we get ourselves Agra. That's super nice. Okay, now how much do they like Ode? They probably will like it even less now because it's actually disconnected from their market. Apparently they like Agra 156, but also we have the recently changed modifier. How about the Western Himalayas? How much do they like that? Western Himalayas. Take a look at that. Where is the Western Himalayas? There it is. It's also 156. Wonder if these will go down as their GDP drops since they're isolated. Wait, they're not isolated. Oh, Tibet. No. Okay, we get the Texan Proletarian Revolt. Very nice. We'll just quickly crush the proletariat. I guess this 15 stack actually should deal with this front, and then this guy can go like here, and our navy can be ready to naval invade into here, so we can get everything done super quickly. Looking at the GDP ownership map mode, we own like 50% of some British states almost. That's crazy. Not Ireland though. The Irish built up to recently. Ireland's GDP is always insane. We got a Bengali mass migration into Texas, so that's going to be kind of nice because this will massively reduce the average wage for incorporated pops because, you know, we're going to have way more pops competing for the labor in this state, and this state is, I think, basically our only incorporated state. Well, I guess the state to the south as well. Also, there's tons of oil here. Let's... oh, we don't have combustion engine unlocked, actually, so we can't turn on combustion engine derricks, I guess. Okay, laissez-faire is passed. That gives us another, like, 100k reinvestment, so that's pretty nice. The Civil War is finally over, so that's pretty nice. I guess we can start incorporating all this stuff as well. And make sure we delete government administrations. Don't be wanting to have any of those. Those are big scam. And then also, we can start trying to turn up some OPM plantations and stuff. This will be pretty nice. It is going to crash the prices of a lot of stuff in our market, though. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to go very bad prices. We love the great GDP vertical graph. 91 million GDP. Just keeps going up. The power of the investors. There's also like 100 million GDP between the Texan East Indies and Philippines. That's basically ours, because we could annex these at any time, but we do kind of need that Diplo Pact. I guess we actually can survive without the treaty, which is pretty nice. Yeah, our minting income is going up a lot, because our GDP is just keeping on going up. Getting money from minting is very nice. That's, the least cheese method of this. I've heard you could consider this taxes on your subjects, I guess, and stuff, but minting is just, that's free money. And this is, taxing other people. This one's, I guess, a little bit less than this one in terms of taxes, but yeah, minting is definitely not a tax. Well, in real life, it would be a tax, I guess, because it's basically a wealth tax in real life because you create inflation. Goods transfer treaties actually is going to be a good way to get money potentially. If we could goods transfer to China especially, but that's going to be tough. Should probably try to declare some rivalries so we can improve relations with China. Yeah, let's declare a bunch of random rivalries so that we can improve relations with China. Because we definitely want to be able to export to China if possible. Although that is going to be a bit tough to get them to accept that treaty because they're minus 134 with us right now. Although 50 of this is perceived fairness of current treaties. For some reason, Russia didn't get off of traditionalism this game, so they're like by far the lowest economy great power at only 66 million GDP. I think we're about to pass up the first real great power. Oh, actually, we just did. No, we're just back behind now. We're basically tied with the first real great power GDP of Austria. The Ottomans are in fourth? That's crazy, bro. That never happens. Oh wow, our balance is actually to the point where we would be positive without diplopacts or treaties. That's really nice. Of course, this is probably not going to last for too long. Or, I mean, actually, it's going to last for a while. We should actually build up all these construction sectors probably, because, yeah, our investment pool is going to last for, like, forever right now, so we might as well just build more construction so that it'll actually drain ever. Unfortunately, I lost audio for the next, like, 6 years, so I'm going to be doing a quick summary of what I did. There's only really two super important things, which one I'm showing on screen right now. We canceled the treaty with the British, and we're recreating it, this time going for Ode. Give some monopolies and stuff, and we should be able to pretty easily get this treaty to be accepted. I guess I'm trying to decide which plantations are the best. I think I end up going with tea, tobacco, and sugar. Each one it gives plus 20, but you are capped to plus 50 acceptance from the source, unfortunately. And yeah, we send that treaty over to the British, and we get free Texan Ode, which is pretty nice. And now here we are taking Beijing from China. We swap governments over to the landowners, and then we just gotta ask the Russians for Beijing. Of course, with the sorting system in the Victory War Goals, it's quite hard to find the war goal you're looking for, but I do eventually realize that Beijing is just near the top here, and that's going to be a very nice war goal to take. Dang, my mic cut out for a little bit there. That's very sad. But anyways, I'm going to explain what's going on here. You can see our GDP has been growing like a ton. I don't know exactly what past Connor will have explained, but our economy is doing very well off that 200,000 base minting. Unfortunately, that's the minting cap, which does mean that it's going to be tough to get more money than this. But anyways, I wanted to invade Bengal because they have lots of GDP. That'll give us like more debt cap and stuff so we can build up a larger navy. But Prussia would join. So I'm thinking we ally Austria. And then with Austria's help, we can try to fight. Okay, so for some reason they decline and then offer it to us. I don't know why, but we'll take it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and conquer West Bengal and East Bengal. And then we'll just sway in Austria here. If we sway Russia in, Britain might join or whatever. So we're not going to do that. Just going to focus on fighting out Bengal here. Might be a little bit tricky, but I think we probably can defeat the Bengalis, as well as Austria being able to defeat Prussia. I think Austria has, yeah, they have a little bit less power projection, but they have far more conscripts, so it should be pretty balanced. We'll see what happens, but I don't expect this war to be that bad for us. For some reason, our conscripts are getting up, even though I didn't tell them to mobilize. I am a little bit confused about what's going on with that. Yeah, I'm very confused, actually. Maybe we just cancel the conscripts to try to make that not happen. I'm very confused about why that is happening. Okay, canceling the conscripts did make that go away. Unfortunately, we are having very low org on this army, so we're just gonna have to defend for a while. We could sway the British in for Chiang Mai. That's like nothing. Oh, actually, it's 8 million GDP. Okay, maybe that isn't actually just nothing. Okay. Wow, 8 million GDP Chiang Mai is kind of crazy. Let's reduce autonomy on them. That's going to be a decent amount of Diplopacts. Yeah, they're 5k. It's surprisingly low. Yeah, they're on land-based tax. We'll have to try to get them onto per capita at some point. We can just sort of invade through this front, apparently. They're not going to defend it. That's good, I guess. The other fronts aren't going amazing for us, but hey, that one front is going very well for us. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna get some free pushes through here, and I guess we'll get, no, we won't get stopped at West Bengal, will we? We will actually be able to take West Bengal, and then it will stop us because the fronts will merge. Okay, that's gonna be really good then. Okay, now a Prussian army is trying to stop us, and Austrian army is apparently coming to help us. Can we get some more pushes in before the Prussian army arrives? Oh yes, we get to East Bengal before the Prussian army arrives. Okay, unfortunately we're gonna have to go on the defensive now. Oh, this northern front is going really bad. We, like, need to spam skirmish infantry conscripts to defend. Yeah, it's not gonna be that expensive to conscript a little bit for this war. Let's just do it. Okay, we just need to make sure we can actually win this war. Maybe we can try to push back now. Yeah, things look kind of good right now. Wait, what? Apparently we occupy West Bengal? Okay, well, I'm not gonna pretend to understand how we apparently did the naval invasion get in? I don't know. How else could we possibly have occupied this? I don't know. Okay, Bengal is now negative war support. We can go for conquer West and East Bengal. Unfortunately, these are disconnected, but hey, it's Bengal, so that's a very nice bump in our GDP. We are now the number 2 GDP in the world. I don't think we're number 2 prestige quite yet, but we're kind of close. No, France is actually way ahead. Wow. Yeah, France has got a big navy and stuff. We definitely should start building a big navy. I don't know how much navy power projection could give us, but if we get a big navy tech and stuff, we can probably get a lot from it. Like, how much are the British getting from naval power projection right now? Almost, yeah, 2,500 basically. I think we can probably get similar. Like, how many coastal states do we have? Okay, we actually don't even have enough to get a fleet the size of the British right now, actually, I think. Which is unfortunate. Well, it's not exactly ideal that America is trying to conquer Texas from us. I mean, realistically, there's no reason to not just accept this, I think. I mean, I guess there is a little bit of GDP here, but there really isn't that much. So probably accepting this makes a lot of sense, but we will just decline it real quick. Oh. Oh, I did not consider that we would have Russia be the leader of the war, so we can't actually add any war goals. Oh, but we can scam the Americans. Okay, change back to this government. And now we scam the Americans. We ask them for independence. And now when they say yes to giving us independence... Oh, we can't actually leave the war. We have to get independence. But at least we no longer get Texas conquered. Yeah, now America's genial with us, which is pretty nice. I wonder if we could even get an alliance with America this way. Probably not. I guess if we give them investment rights, we could. Yeah, this is probably worth it, actually. Okay, we'll give America, like, a little bit of money. Or we need a bit more, like 2,000 a week, and then we can get an alliance this way. And then with an alliance, we can hopefully use them as another country to attack Britain with. We just need, like, everyone we can. Because, yeah, it's going to be a very tough war to fight Britain. We're going to need a super large navy and a super large army so we can invade the British home isles and stuff. If France sides with America, this war is definitely going to be not too hard, I think. Unless, like, Britain joins Russia or something. Oh, Mexico might join Russia. That might be annoying. I guess we can just capitulate in this war, but I think we do want to get independence at some point, obviously, because you can't be the number one GP if you're a subject. And we're close enough to being able to change our market capital. Yeah, only a couple years away. We are currently lacking quite a few convoys, so it would be nice to be in the Russian market, sort of. Oh, also our market has like a ton of shortages. We should definitely remove some of these tariffs. But also tariffs are actually a really nice source of revenue for us, since we can't, collect taxes. Tariffs are a nice way of getting money. Although tariffs are kind of taxes. Hmm. The people have spoken, and we're not taking tariff revenue. Tariffs are basically taxes, so therefore, I am going to go delete all of our tariffs. I guess we technically collected a tiny bit of tariff revenue at the very start, but we basically didn't collect any real. No, I actually don't know if we did, because I don't think we built a trade center until we were in someone's market. So we might not have collected any tariff revenue, except for like last week or something. But I'm just going to go through and painstakingly delete all of these tariffs. Okay, I just deleted all tariffs. Maybe there's some good I forgot to untariff that we aren't trading yet, but basically I deleted all tariffs. I'm gonna start working on building up a navy. It is gonna put us into a negative balance probably, but I think that we're gonna be getting ready for world domination, aka number one GP, pretty soon, and we do have a very, very large amount of debt to go through. 344 million or 346 million, which should be able to keep us going for a really long time. Apparently someone that has investment rights in us is giving us fine grain production because we're the number one producer of fine grain. We should definitely cancel this treaty with Britain. Now, we can do another one, I guess, to try to take over, what's it called? Western Himalayas. I don't know if that's going to be worth it. Let's take a look at how difficult this is going to be. Oh, we can give trade privileges now and goods transfers. That'll make this way easier. Okay. Yeah, goods transfers. What could we give Britain that they would want? Probably taking stuff. Oh, I actually sent them an offer that they're obviously going to refuse. Oops. But, yeah, probably taking their stuff is going to be the way to get them to accept. Like, we can take a bunch of luxury furniture, and that'll give a bunch of acceptance. And then we can give them 7,500 monies. Now negative 53. But I feel like there's something we're missing. Oh, yeah, we can give them prohibit trade or whatever, no tariffs. That would be enough, actually, isn't it? Okay, I put in a bunch of no tariff subventions and prohibit trade. And yeah, we can now scam the British out of Western Himalayas as well. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good business deal there. The great Texan scammers, Also, we're the Indian scammers at the same time. We're the Tex-Indian scammers. That sounds pretty realistic. I don't know. I don't know if the Texans did any scams, but small countries would probably scam or something. I guess we're not a small country anymore, but I mean, we're still a minor power, so we're basically a small country. Well, the socialist movement is going to start a civil war. Oh, it's only taking Texan Mauritania? Oh, okay. That's just free radicalism dilution. Sure. Or I think we won our independence. Yeah, we did. We're now the fourth great power in the world. Very nice. France and USA are going up a lot since, I guess USA is mobilized right now, and that's given them, yeah, a ton from Army Power Projection, I'm sure. They have 40,000 Army Power Projection, so that's gonna be giving them quite a bit of prestige. Yeah, like 1,000 from that. Oh, I gave the socialist regulatory bodies right. I actually think we want to intentionally make the socialists hate us real quick by passing like no workers' rights or something, so that we can get the civil war going. Because I do really want the civil war. Because yeah, it's just free radicalism killing. It's just Texan Mauritania. That's literally nothing. So we're like a fourth of the prestige of Britain right now. If we lib some stuff from Britain, we can probably cut their prestige in like half. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. We lib Scotland, Ireland, Wales probably. Wales doesn't have much actually, so probably not that. But Ireland has a ton. Scotland has a bunch. The question is how will we beat Britain in a war? Wait, Spain is landing in Britain right now? No, they're not actually gonna succeed, but they got a tick, so that's something. I should cap out this war now because there's no war goals against us or for us. Start a naval invasion on the Texan Socialist Revolt. It's got to go all the way through the Suez Canal for our navy to arrive, so it's going to be a little bit, but not too long. Oh, I think America broke our treaty. Yeah, they did. Now they're an untrustworthy country. Okay, well, we got to get ready for our war with Britain. And if we have a big enough navy, I do think it's going to be winnable, but it's going to be tough. Yeah, the British have 40,000 army power projection, so it's going to be very tough. Oh, right, I should really go Zeppelins. That's going to be the way we win the war. Yeah, 100% I go Zeppelins, actually. I should have thought about this a little bit earlier. Zeppelins are the key to success, the plus 30 offense event. Yeah, I'm going to start building up our 15 stack into a significantly larger stack, because obviously this is not going to be enough troops to land the British Isles with. We're going to need quite a bit more. Maybe not 100 of each, or probably 100 of each will be good, actually, yeah. That'll bring us with like 230 total troops in this army, which is going to be pretty decent. Interesting that British GDP is kind of seemingly capped around 400 million. I don't know why. Wait, what? No, what? Okay, that's the French graph that's going up a ton. I don't know why the French graph is doing so well, but the British are just like not. Yeah, they must be like running out of pops, and they're like, I don't know why their stuff is going down. Or people are like migrating away and stuff? Wow. I guess we still stole from states from them, but that should be like instant drops, not just like a steady drop down. Pretty strange. We are now the number 3 great power. Just France and the UK are above us. Apparently the British are cut down to sizable. I don't think that that gives a big enough infamy reduction for that to be the play, right? Not infamy reduction, prestige reduction. I don't think they conquered anything major either. How much of a prestige reduction does it give? I need to find out. If it's like 50%, maybe that would be good enough. Especially if I could like delete some of their army. But I mean, I think we would be better off just liberating country, right? It would be nice to get people on our side, but I don't think it would be that nice. We need to wait for Zeppelins either way. How close are they to? Oh, they're actually like super pariah. Wow. They want to liberate a bunch of random American states. North Carolina, Panama, Florida, Haudenosaunee. Oh, the French almost managed to land in London. They got 75% of the way there, but unfortunately they are failing. If they had managed to land, that would have been pretty nice. They could have liberated some things here, but they're almost certainly going to fail this war, right? I guess actually they have the Americans. If the Americans tried too, they might have a chance. I'm going to move my market capital to Mysore. It will give us negative 10% throughput, but it's going to be very nice to have actual amounts of convoys. You know, GDP drops a bit due to the lowered throughput, but very nice to have 20,000 spare convoys instead of lacking a bunch of convoys, because now almost all of our market is connected to itself instead of almost all of it being isolated. Now pretty much we just have to ship to like Texas and I guess like the East Indies. Alright, we should create a power block. Maybe a military treaty? Yeah, I don't know what else the other blocks would do for us. Maybe we just create a military treaty here. I mean, the relations aren't amazing, but... Oh, the Lone Star League is a great block name. I love it. Okay, yeah, we're the number 3 block in the world. Number 2 GDP block. France, how close are we? We're pretty close to beating up France. Like, if we go... I guess let's go up Gov wages so we can see what our true prestige is, right? Yeah, that puts us at number 2 in the world. Let's go! Texas number 2! And we might as well do mill wages at max as well, I guess. Like, all this is such cheap infamy. We're 5,300 prestige. Yeah, we just need to lower the British a bunch. Once we get Zeppelins, we'll go for it. The Ottomans and Prussians are declaring a cut down to size play against Britain. I don't think anyone else is joining. Wait, what? Yeah. Oh, France might join, but they're already in the war, basically. Spain could join, but no one too major is going to be joining. So this war is probably going to get white peaced as well, but it will be another distraction for Britain for our ultimate war in pretty soon here, actually, yeah. Well, we have researched Zeppelins. Unfortunately, we have not gotten the event yet. I think it is just a matter of time, but I'm going to wait to get the event before we declare the war. Plus 30 Army Offense event is here. Okay, we're going to declare neutrality, and I'm going to declare on the UK to liberate Ireland. Okay, very nice. We're going to hold this event for as long as possible so we keep our buff. I'm going to move my army. Oh, we can't actually move it closer. I guess Senegal is probably closer. And yeah, we're going to get ready for war with the UK here. Lib Scotland. Humiliate Great Britain. Lib Canada probably is going to be important. Need interests. Canada, Australia. Oh, we have one in Australia. We should probably lib Australia. Who else is important to the British economy? Oh, Australia sides with us. Okay, well that means we can't liberate them anymore, but I guess that's kind of nice. Khalsa Raj in Canada are pretty much the other two important ones. Why can we not lib Khalsa Raj? Do we have an interest in them? Oh, we don't. Okay. Yeah, let's put an interest there. Can sway Canada with independence. Okay, that's good. Canada joins the war against Britain, that'll create another front, which will be nice. Because every front means it's less likely Britain will naval invade us. Sure, I'll give Japan regime change in Sierra Leone. We just need to have enough people where this war is going to be fairly easy. More people, the easier it'll be. Should probably start conscripting up like an insane amount of soldiers. It'll help for when we actually land in the British Isles, assuming that we do. We're probably going to go for like Munster or something. Actually, it looks like England is less defended, so actually we'll go for home counties maybe. And yeah, I guess we'll live British Senegal as well. Just want to remove as many of their puppets as possible so they can be as weak as possible. We need to get them, their prestige needs to drop like 30% so that we can become #1. The UK does have negative relative military strength. I still think this war might be pretty tough just because, you know, it's the UK and landing the home isles of the UK is pretty tough. But we do have that plus 30 offense, so it should be doable, right? Yeah, 90 offense on the shrapnel artillery. Surely we got this. Defeating the British Navy before we can land. Oh, it's actually 2 weeks to stop us. Okay, we're just gonna land now, I guess. We want a 4th general so we can push in as quickly as possible. Apparently they're just not going to sign these troops. Okay. Well, I guess that's nice. I don't know what to say, you know. You love to see it. Big nice. Yeah, we're just kind of in the British Isles now, so I guess we can mobilize, or we can start bringing the 2nd Army over here. Join the front. Oh, actually, we're getting occupied. We definitely need to try to hold that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not good. I think we can push this back out in time. Yeah, we should be able to push this out in time. In fact, why are they leaving the front? Huh? What do you mean you're going to the Arkansas-Texas front? Oh, apparently Britain's at war with America. Oh, yeah, I forgot that Britain's at war with everyone. That would probably explain why they're not defending this that well. The perils of being a pariah. You get to be at war with everyone at once. Anyway, now that we're back liberated, we can continue occupying the British Isles. The 2nd Army is going to be a while till it arrives, but once it arrives, we will have an even more dominating advantage. Oh, our 1st army got teleported away? Okay, we need to bring this army back too. I think that we're going to pass Britain in the middle of this war, potentially. We're at 7,900, we're at 7,099 right now. I don't know, I think it's likely we're going to pass them before the war ends. Maybe we'll pass them at the end of the war, though. We'll see. Okay, yeah, it did happen in the middle of the war. We've passed Britain in prestige, but let's just finish off the war real quick. This is not exactly going to take very long. Unfortunately, Canada refuses to make peace without every demand, so it is going to take a little bit longer before we can make peace. The Ottomans have landed in Ulster. Okay, we can now make peace. Very nice. Britain's going to go from having 6,000 prestige to 4,000. Yeah, we're now easily in #1. #1 GDP, #1 prestige. Not #1 SOL or whatever, but in Texas, our SOL is kind of crazy. There was. I guess we've got 16 million people to move here now, so it's no longer crazy, unfortunately. So yeah, this was a fun run. I'm going to end the run off here. I'm just going to quickly scroll through all the territories we acquired. And I guess we can look at our GDP graph, literacy graph, pop graph. We ended the run with 1 million reinvestment while having a 1x multiplier. That's pretty decent. And of course, this is GDPs of the world. Apparently Austria ended up doing really well. They were not doing too well for a while, but I guess they managed to fix up their economy and ended up with a very good GDP. And yeah, we're obviously, by quite a large margin, #1 in prestige. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Goodbye!